Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The World Federation began its activities in India as early as in 1977, soon after the establishment of the World Federation in 1976. India provides an opportunity for all of us to serve our people with the minimum capital outlay. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He increases in our tawfiqat, and after having viewed this film, most of you will have decided to take part and make our program successful.
This is a story of a community's quest to serve humanity. On the 21st of December 2006, the start of a new journey led a team of 21 youth from the Khoja community to the land of their ancestors. They went to India to see for themselves the difference their community had made over the last 30 years. They had been separated by oceans and cultures for 3 generations, and yet, in just a few days, they felt so very connected with their brothers and sisters in faith. The team spread out across India, documenting their journey, as they met with children receiving funding for education and families who had benefited from improved health services. They saw firsthand how the community funded homes that lifted families out of slum areas and replaced homes that were destroyed by natural disasters. The experience introduced them to the humanitarian work of the World Federation, opening their eyes to the importance of charity and ultimately the need for a united community. Now they hope to share their experiences with you. Come and join them on their journey home. Our journey begins in a village called Khoja, 500 miles east of the Indian capital Delhi. The heart of this small village is the Madrasa Islamia, where one can see the importance of great leadership in educating hundreds in a poor rural area.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rahil Hussain Gasmani.
And I'm Haseen Shakur.
And we're here to take you on a journey through some of the projects funded by you via the World Federation.
The projects we are covering are in the state of Bihar, one of the poorest states in India.
The word Bihar conjures up an image of poverty, backwardness, violence and foul governance. Many children don't have the opportunity to receive an education and are therefore forced into child labour. However, in the village of Khoja, the World Federation have funded a multi-purpose campus, including an English school, an Islamic madrasa, a women's hostel, and also a hostel for some of these students to reside in. On our first day at the school, we were welcomed by Maulana Asghar Ali. He studied at the Madrasa Islamia in his youth and has now become a teacher here. His father, although from Patna, has been a long-standing helper of the school, and now Maulana Asghar Ali has followed in his footsteps. Although the Madrasa Islamia serves the local population, many of the madrasa students come from far, as an Islamic education is not offered where they live. These students, as well as some of the teachers, stay in the hostel.
आए देखते हैं फिर हॉस्टल की तरफ कि हॉस्टल में क्या होता है कैसे लड़के रहते हैं.
Each room holds approximately 10 people, with room for up to 50 students.
अभी इसमें 8 लड़के रहते हैं.
Within the hostel and dorms, the students seem to build a family atmosphere, with slightly older students helping and nurturing the younger ones. We interviewed Professor Sami Askari, the real driving force for success of projects in Bihar. He became the secretary of the madrasa in 1985 and since then has seen the institute grow exponentially. He organised its construction and design without the help of an architect, and the job he's doing in Bihar is outstanding. He spoke to us at length on his experiences at the madrasa throughout the years.
Professor Askari, how did you get involved with this project in Khoja?
You see, I came in contact with Mullah Asghar in 1986 or 87, something like that. And in 1992 or 93, he came to Khoja. And when I came in contact with Mullah Asghar, so he inspired me to get myself involved in all these activities.
Can you generally talk to us about the madrasa and each section of the institution?
That very important section is our religious section, where we are having students who are living in our hostels, and we are providing all sorts of facilities to those poor students. They are concerned with the religious educations. We are having our Khoja, where higher education for this religious teachings are done. In addition to that, we are having one section which is meant for the ladies, which is known as Khoja Zainabia. This is also a bit secular and religious. There we are teaching secular education as well as religious education for the girls. In another section, there is one Hindi section where the students from majority community people, they are coming over, they are the poor students. We are educating them free of cost. We are not charging any fee. So this is one section which can you say Hindi section is for majority community people. And we have added recently another section which is known as our English section, which is based on CBSE syllabus. So in that section, English section, we have all categories of students belonging to all the communities.
Every morning, the students of the school take part in an exercise regime, and Haseen and myself thought it'd be quite fun to join them. It has been proven that exercise improves learning and memory, and the aim of this exercise is to stimulate the mind and make sure the students are fully awake for a day of gaining knowledge. The students loved this, and it seemed like an enjoyable start to the day. We spoke to Asif, a student who had to leave his family to come and study in the Madrasa Islamia.
Do you like it here?
He's studying here with his brother and tells us a little bit about what life is like as a student.
What happens?
We go to class 10 o'clock, then 12 p.m. we read in class, and then interval, then we read namaz.
Do you ever miss your family?
Yes, whenever far away from my family, I miss them.
When are you going to see them next?
In holiday of Muharram.
Holiday of
Asif is a perfect example of how students have seized the opportunity to obtain an education. Seeing the sparkle in his eye when hearing him talk about school was a truly warming experience.
You know, for developing an institution, first of all, you should have its space. And when I became the secretary, it was having nothing. So we decided that we should have some base, and we started constructing this building which is before you. So we constructed in the initial stage this Al-Khui block, and then Imam Zamana block, and in the last is your last building, that is Sheikh Mufid block. So when the building was ready, so gradually we started adding a lot of sections in this madrasa, and we were thinking right from the beginning to convert this religious madrasa into a secular education.
Maulana Mazahir Hussain is the headmaster of the Madrasa Islamia Khoja, and with the financial help of World Federation has seen it rise from next to nothing to one of the best secular institutions in the state. The institute now educates 700 pupils, and he has seen the major achievements of the madrasa and has ideas of where he wants the project to go in years to come.
हम ये चाहते हैं कि मदरसा इस मदरसे का लगाव ग्लोबल बेसिस के ऊपर हो जाए, पूरी दुनिया से लगाव हो जाए, कि हमारे लड़के जो हैं वो पूरी दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है, कम्युनिटी के बारे में, मज़हब के बारे में और उसके अलावा सियासत के बारे में, पूरी दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है और जिस चीज़ से इनका लगाव है उसको वो जान लें. तो इस तरह से हम ये चाहते हैं कि पूरी दुनिया के राब्ते में हम आ जाएं, ख़ास तौर से वर्ल्ड फेडरेशन के राब्ते में रहें, कि उससे हमें इल्मी इफ़ादात यानी जिसे कहा जाता है नॉलेज बहुत मिलता है और हम लोगों को बहुत फीड होता है इससे.
How difficult is it to run projects like these, and what resources are needed?
It is difficult, there's no doubt, but if you have got a dedicated worker, honest worker, it's not so difficult. So to have some working heads of dedicated people makes the difference. Otherwise, one can't do anything.
What other projects set up by the World Federation are running in Bihar?
In the initial stage, we introduced this Zainabia Child Sponsorship Scheme, under which we are giving scholarships. One. Next is your housing project, which was introduced by Mullah Asghar for building houses for the Sadats. We have built up 40 houses in different parts of Bihar. And the next project recently introduced is provision of safe drinking water to the poor people. We have provided hand pipe borings to near about 95% poor people of this Bihar state. So I think this project is nearly completion.
Poor access to rural areas has kept villages in Bihar very undeveloped. Many families still live in mud houses, and breadwinners find that the only way they can earn enough to feed their families is by working long hours in manual jobs. By funding a school in Khoja, the World Federation have set the foundation to transform a village whose current working generation did not get access to an education into a village where nearly every child will have this opportunity. I feel the next educated generation will bring a wealth of ideas and skills to improve the surrounding areas of the institute.
The determination of the students at Khoja is typical of so many students sponsored by the Zainabia Child Sponsorship Scheme. One example of a student who is determined to succeed is Ghulam Abbas Yusuf Ali.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatima Roshali Mauji. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Essex in England. Inshallah, over the next few days, the team and I shall be travelling to Bhavnagar, a town that lies along the west coast of India in the state of Gujarat. Here I shall meet Ghulam Abbas Yusuf Ali, a 20-year-old individual who has been helped by two key WF projects, which are housing and education. I'm hoping to find out how the World Federation has helped him turn his life around, and how this in turn is benefiting many others in the wider community. We spent the day with Ghulam Abbas and were completely amazed by his impressive schedule. He begins his day at the crack of dawn when he travels for his university business commerce class that starts at 6:30 in the morning.
અમે ક્યાં આવ્યા?
અત્યારે હું જે મારી યુનિવર્સિટીનું ટ્યુશન ક્લાસ છે ત્યાં અત્યારે સ્ટડી કરવા જઈ રહ્યો છું. અહીંયા ઉપરની સાઈડ મારું ટ્યુશન ક્લાસ છે. એટલે અત્યારે 6:30 થઈ ગયા છે એટલે આઈ હેવ ટુ ગો. આપણે મળશું ઇન્શાલ્લાહ 8 o'clock.
ઓકે
ઓકે
હાય
ખુદા હાફિઝ.
Now throughout his life, Ghulam Abbas's education was sponsored by the Zainabia Child Sponsorship Scheme. As a hard-working and dedicated student, he's now studying at university level for a degree in business commerce. At the age of 15, Ghulam Abbas and his family were relocated to a World Federation housing colony that provides a larger and cleaner living space compared to their previous home.
આ અમારો એરિયા છે. ઇટ્સ અ ગોલ્ડન ટાઈમ. અહીંયા અમે રહેતા હતા. બાજુમાં મસ્જિદ છે. અહીંયા ઉપર જ અમારું ઘર છે. અને અમે લોકો અહીંયા બહુ હેપી હતા એકદમ. પણ થેન્ક્સ ફોર વર્લ્ડ ફેડરેશન કે અમને લોકોને શિફ્ટ થઈ ગયા. એ કમ્ફર્ટેબલ છીએ અમે જગ્યાની રીતે દરેક રીતે. પણ ગોલ્ડન ટાઈમ ઇઝ વિલ નોટ બેક. ઇટ ઇઝ વેરી મચ વી વોઝ વેરી હેપી. ધીસ ઇઝ હા અચ્છા આ મારું ઘર છે. અમે અહીંયા ઉપર જ રહેતા હતા જ્યારે હું એસએસસી સુધી હતો. વેન આઈ વોઝ ઇન 15 years અમે 15 વર્ષ સુધી હું અહીંયા જ રહેતો હતો.
થેન્ક યુ કે તમે ટાઈમ લીધા છો અમારા સાથે બોલવાનું. પહેલો મને તને પૂછા કરો છે કે આ જગ્યાનું નામ શું છે?
એ જો એકચ્યુઅલી ભારતનગરના નામથી છે. ભારતનગર કહેવાય છે અને આ ઓલ્ડ ટુ માલિયાસ કહેવાય છે. અત્યારે આપણે જે રૂમમાં બેઠા છીએ ઓલ્ડ ટુ માલિયાસ કહેવાય. નિયર ધ મસ્જિદ આમ ખોજાવાડ મસ્જિદ ખોજા મસ્જિદ નિયર.
ને તમે અહીંયા પહેલા રહેતા હતા મને ખબર પડી છે. કેટલા વર્ષ થયા તમે મૂવ થયા છો?
અમારે મૂવ થયે 4-5 વર્ષ થયા હશે. વેન ધ રાઇટ્સ જ્યારે તોફાનો થયા વી હેવ ટુ ટ્રાન્સફર શિફ્ટ અને શિફ્ટ થવું પડ્યું અમારે લોકોએ. પછી સિટીમાં રહેવા ગયા ભાવનગર.
કેટલા રૂમ છે આગળના?
બસ એક રૂમ છે, એક કિચન છે, આટલો જ રૂમ છે અને કિચન છે બસ.
ને તમે કેટલા જણા અહીંયા રહેતા હતા?
અહીંયા અમે 6 person રહેતા હતા. મારી 2 સિસ્ટર્સ હતી, એક બ્રધર અને હું, એન્ડ મમ્મી ડેડી. 6 person રહેતા.
ઓકે, ને કેવી રીતના તમે સૂતા હતા?
સુવામાં તો ઉપર તો મમ્મી ડેડી અને ભાઈ સૂઈ જતો હતો, ઉપર ડેડી ભાઈ, અને પ્લસ અહીંયા પથારી કરી, અહીંયા કરી અને પાથરીને સૂઈ જતા. હું ત્યારે તો મેજોરિટી રીડિંગ તો મારે સાંજે જ રાખવું પડતું, રાત્રે જ મારે વાંચવું પડતું, બિકોઝ અહીંયા દિવસે વાંચો તો પ્રોબ્લેમ્સ ને એવું રહે, એટલે હું દિવસે થોડો આરામ કરતો SSC પહેલાં. અને ધીસ કોર્નર માય સ્પેશિયલ કોર્નર, એન્ડ મારી બુક્સ સામે બધી પડી હોય અને હું ત્યાં બેઠો બેઠો વાંચ્યા કરતો. બસ રાત્રે બધા સૂઈ જાય ને પછી શાંતિથી એકદમ.
તો બધા સૂઈ જાય રાતના, તો શાંત થઈને તમે આ જ રૂમમાં લેસન કરો? ઓકે, તો કેવી રીતના તમે કરો? કેમ બધા સૂતા હોય ને લાઇટ કેવી રીતના તમે?
નહીં, લાઇટ તો ઓન રાખતા હતા બધા. એટલું મમ્મી ડેડીનો એટલો સપોર્ટ હતો કે હું ગમે તે વસ્તુ કહું, કદાચ એમ કહું કે તમે લોકો આમ શિફ્ટ થઈ જાઓ, મારે સ્ટડી કરવું છે, ભણવું છે, તો મને બધી ઓફર હતી. અત્યાર સુધી પણ હજી ડેડીની ફૂલ ઓફર છે કે ગમે તે રીતે તારે સ્ટડી કરવું છે, તને શોખ છે, અને સ્ટડી ઇઝ મોસ્ટ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ. તારે જે જોતું હોય, મારી માથે કોઈ ડેડીની કોઈ કટકટ કે એવું ડેડીનું કહેવાનું નહીં કે ભાઈ તું આમ ન કર, કે આમ ન જા, કે આવી રીતે ન કર. પોઝિશન હોય, પરિસ્થિતિ હોય કે ન હોય, હું કોઈ પણ વસ્તુ કહું એટલે ડેડી લાવી દેતા, બુક્સ આ છે તે છે, આ કોઈ બી પ્રોબ્લેમ. નાવ આઈ એમ ગોઈંગ ઓન ટ્યુશન બાય સ્કૂટર, પેટ્રોલ જોઈએ વગેરે વગેરે, તો ડેડી નથી કહેતા, કારણ કે એમ કહે છે તું સ્ટડી કરો છો, બસ મોસ્ટ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ, ઇટ ઇઝ મોસ્ટ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ. એક
તમને શું ગમે છે નવા ઘરમાં કે જૂના ઘરમાં ન હતું?
હા, એમ તો ઘણી બધી ફેસિલિટીઝ ઘણી બધી છે ત્યાં, ઘણી બધી, જેમ કે 2 રૂમ છે, કિચન છે, બધું મોટું મોટું છે. આ કિચન કરતાં પણ ત્યાં કિચન મોટું છે, રૂમ કરતાં પણ 2 રૂમ મોટા છે, ગેલેરી આ છે તે છે. બસ ત્યાં બધી ફેસિલિટીઝ મળી છે, અલ્લાહનો શુક્ર છે, અને બધું જે હેલ્પ મળી બહુ ખરેખર શુક્ર માનીએ છીએ અમે કે અલ્લાહ તરફથી અને ફેડરેશન વગેરેના થ્રુ અમને આ મકાન મળી ગયું, એટલે અમે અત્યારે તો ત્યાં કમ્ફર્ટેબલ એકદમ છીએ. અત્યાર સુધી અમે લોકો અહીંયા સ્ટડી કરતા હતા.
તમે અહીંયા સ્ટડી કરતા હતા? કેટલા વર્ષ સુધી?
આઈ વોઝ ઇન 4th સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ ટુ SSC, 10th સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ સુધી 6 years મેં અહીંયા સ્ટડી કર્યું છે. જ્યારે અમે લોકો SSCમાં હતા ત્યારે એ જ ક્લાસમાં જે ક્લાસ અમને બતાવ્યો ત્યારે અમે સ્ટડી કરતા. અહીંયા હું છું, એન્ડ ધીસ ઇઝ માય ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, ધીઝ આર માય ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, એન્ડ ધીસ ઇઝ માય ટીચર. અમારો ક્લાસ છે SSC સુધી, 8th to SSC 3 years અમે લોકો અહીંયા ભણતા. આ ક્લાસમાં પાછળથી એકદમ વ્યવસ્થિત માહોલ મળી રહેતો, અને આ ટીચર્સ પણ એટલા ગુડ હતા. અમે લોકો અહીંયા બેઠતા, અમે 3-4 મેક્સિમમ એટલા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ હતા અમે લોકો, અને અમે અહીંયા સ્ટડી કરતા. આ અમારો ક્લાસ છે. એમ એકદમ હેપી હતા, એકદમ નેચરલી માહોલ, બસ એન્વાયરમેન્ટ એકદમ ફ્રેશ મળી રહેતું. વી વોઝ વેરી હેપી. થેન્ક યુ.
We're outside the Vartaj Madrasa, where Ghulam Abbas teaches Quran, Diniyat, Akhlaq every day to the local children. Ghulam Abbas is the only teacher here, and I wonder that if the World Federation had not supported Ghulam Abbas through the Zainabia Child Sponsorship Scheme, whether or not these children might have lost out on a much-needed teacher. After Vartaj, Ghulam Abbas returns to Bhavnagar, where he teaches science and other subjects in the Husseini Education Centre. It's 8:30 in the evening and we're at the Husseini Tuition Centre in the heart of Bhavnagar. Now this centre is partially funded by the World Federation, and the classes are run by students such as Ghulam Abbas. After walking around and talking to some of the teachers and the students and sitting in the classes themselves, it's clearly evident to me that this centre provides a much-needed educational support to the children of this community. Straight after finishing at the Husseini Tuition Centre, Ghulam Abbas travels to the World Federation-built housing complex in Gulistan. There he teaches even more students. It's coming up to just 10 o'clock and I followed Ghulam Abbas from the Husseini Tuition Centre to here, the Gulistan housing complex, where he's teaching the children from the World Federation apartments how to learn Quran. Now, the team and I were talking about it, and we were saying that back home, we'd probably be at home watching TV and just winding out our day at this time at night. And he's here using his time to teach these young children Quran. And I think that's something that's really, really valuable. Ghulam Abbas's story is awe-inspiring. A simple individual who, unlike so many of us in the West, takes each second of every day and uses it to its full potential. The little that was given to him has been instrumental in breaking the cycle of poverty and thus helping him to strengthen his community. From the high grades in the Faratej Madrasa, to those who recite Quran in Gulistan, to the understanding of science at the Husseini Tuition Centre. I find it extremely humbling to realise that we in the West, at the prime age of 20, often seek to enjoy life to its fullest. Yet Ghulam Abbas, with his busy schedule, is so spiritually content. What sums up this whole experience is that Ghulam Abbas is just one of many Zainabiyya students who are sacrificing their valuable time to serve, creating a foundation of pillars that is moving this community to self-sufficiency and beyond. With the Almighty Allah's help, so little has become so much.
Ghulam Abbas is fortunate to have the opportunity to study further. However, the team that travelled to Mawa found that this is not always the case.
My name is Zora Qasim and I'm 21 years old. I was born and raised in the UK and I'm currently studying pharmacy at King's College London. The team and I will be travelling to Mahova, which is a town situated in Gujarat. Whilst there, the story I hope to be presenting to you, inshallah, involves two main aspects. The first is education, where I'll be meeting some teachers at the Jafari and Fatimiyya school, whose educations were sponsored through the Zainabiyya Child Sponsorship Scheme. I also hope to be addressing some of the social issues which are prevalent in Mahova and many other towns in India. We arrive in Gujarat and stay the night in Bhavnagar, the following morning making our way to Mahova. Here we visit the Jafari and Fatimiyya school, where just under half the students are sponsored through the Zainabiyya Child Sponsorship Scheme. On our arrival, I was greeted by Akhtar Nisha Sheikh. She is a former Zainabiyya Child Sponsorship Scheme student who is now a teacher at the school. She'll be giving me a tour and introducing me to some of the students. As we arrive, the bell rings as it's break time for the children. This gives me a chance to speak to some of the students and get to know them.
Welcome to the Jafari and Fatimiyya school from the 5th form. It's got a little cutout. So we've just been given this by our students.
Break's over and I'm going to visit some of the classes. At the Jafari and Fatimiyya school, the students all stand when a teacher enters the room as a sign of respect. This is a self-study lesson. I speak to some of the students about the subjects they like and dislike.
And the inventions of modern age, like postcards, telephone, TV, theatre.
I'm now going to be interviewing two of the teachers at the school. I'm sitting here with Akhtar Nisha Sheikh and Nilfa Gavani. They're both teachers at the Jafari and Fatimiyya school and both completed their education under the Zainabiyya Child Sponsorship Scheme. I wanted to know, how has being sponsored by this scheme affected your life?
It has affected more because by their help only I had completed my 12th standard, and after 12th only I got some way to get out for my further studies, and really it was very helpful to me.
Tanisha, why have you decided to teach at this school?
First time when I came to know this place, when I came to know the students are not from the very royal family, just they are coming from the ZCCS, students are there. So I thought if I can give my knowledge to these students, will be more benefit to them.
From speaking to a lot of people in Malva, I found that many people are saying that girls are not really encouraged to go to study in university and to go to higher education. So I was wondering, why do you think that many parents don't encourage their girls to do this?
Really, they need support. First, they need support financially. So only the parents are not allowing, because here they can only earn for the livelihood.
Even if the finance is there, so why do parents still not allow their girls to go and study?
Due to this all some superstitions and everything are there. No, in this atmosphere, here not educational atmosphere is not much. Here they are just believing that after 16 years the girl should be married, should get married.
So what do you think needs to be done to change the mentality of the people here so that they realize the importance of educating their girls?
The main point is, if we want to change the mentality, then 2 or 3 cases must be there in this atmosphere, that they will create such atmosphere that somebody will be forcibly think that no, my child also should come up with a bright future, and she will also continue this study.
So it seems that there's a fear because it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
People are scared to start, but once they see a few cases like yours,
Yeah.
then they can inshallah
Then,
start the
yeah.
process as well. Okay, thank you very much. After interviewing Nilofer, I was kindly invited to visit her home. I wanted to understand why her parents allowed her to go to university, while so many parents in Malva don't allow their girls to go on to higher education. What made you decide to let your daughter go away to study at university?
એટલે તમે કઈ રીતે ડિસાઈડ કર્યું કે મને તમે યુનિવર્સિટીની સ્ટડી માટે મોકલવા માંગો છો એમ?
ફર્સ્ટ મારી દીકરી બ્રિલિયન્ટ સ્ટુડન્ટ તરીકે, અને બીજા નંબરમાં એને પોતાનો ફ્યુચર જે બનાવવું છે આગળમાં, તો એની માટે થઈને એને પોતાનું ફ્યુચર બનાવવાનો પૂરેપૂરો અધિકાર એને મળી જાય બચ્ચાઓને, એ માટે. અને ત્રીજું એ કે ભણવામાં એને બહુ ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ હતો, એ માટે થઈને મેં આગળ એને ભણાવવા માટેનો આગળ વિચાર કર્યો.
And why do you think that many parents in Malva don't encourage their daughters to go away to study at a higher education institution or to go away to a university to study?
એમ કહે છે કે આ મોવામાં આપણે ઘણા બધા પેરેન્ટ્સ છે જે પોતાની છોકરીને આગળ સ્ટડીઝ કરવા માટે નથી જવા દેતા. એ શું લેવાય એમ, એ લોકોની મેન્ટાલિટી શું?
ફર્સ્ટ તો મહુવા ઇઝ સ્મોલ સિટી. સેકન્ડ, અહીંનો માહોલ એવો છે પેરેન્ટ્સનો કે 10 ધોરણ અથવા તો 12 ધોરણ 10 સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ યા 12 સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ ભણાવી અને પોતાની દીકરીને પછી મેરેજ કરી નાખે છે, કેમ કે આગળ એને ભણવાનો કોઈ ચાન્સ આપતા નથી. અને અત્યારે માહોલ એવો છે અહીંનો કે બચ્ચું પોતાનું આગળનું ભણતર ભણવા માટે થઈને પોતે આગળ વધી શકતું નથી, કેમ કે મા બાપ જ તે એને ભણાવતા નથી. બીજા નંબરમાં એ કે અત્યારે માહોલ એવો છે કે આમાં બચ્ચાને આગળ ભણાવવા માટે થઈ અને એક તો જાણે મા બાપે પેરેન્ટ્સે એની ઉપર કોન્ફિડન્સ રાખવો પડે બચ્ચા ઉપર. પણ અત્યારનો માહોલ એવો છે કે બચ્ચું બહાર જાય અને ત્યાં માહોલ એવો થાય કે બચ્ચું બગડી પણ જાય, કેમ કે પેરેન્ટ્સ હોતા નથી ત્યાં.
તો ઇવન તમને જોઈને કે તમે તમારા દીકરીને રજા આપ્યા, હજી એ લોકો નથી જોતા કે ઓરાઈટ છે, તમે કેવા છે તો થોડીક હિંમત મળે કે અમારી બી દીકરી પહેલે જાય.
આપણું જોઈને આમ કોઈ કે તો હિંમત કરી હોય ને, એ લોકો જોની વચ્ચે આપણને પૂછવા આવતા થાય.
હા, એવા 1-2 એક્ઝામ્પલ છે કે જે અમને અહીંયા પૂછવા માટે આવ્યા હતા, અને એ લોકોએ ત્યાં ટ્રાય પણ કરેલી વર્લ્ડ ફેડરેશનમાં આગળ ભણવા માટે થઈને, પણ ત્યાંથી કોઈ રિપ્લાય એવો એને મળ્યો નહીં કોઈ સારો, એટલે એ લોકોએ પછી આગળ જવાબ આપ્યો નહીં, એટલે એ લોકોએ પછી લેટ ગો કર્યું.
Thank you very much. As our journey in Malva comes to an end, I sit to reflect. At first, it's hard for me to access my feelings and adequately summarize my experience in Malva. This becomes easier when I have someone to talk to about what I've learned.
What do you think about the fact that
we as youth have come here and we have seen how our community is over here.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've connected with them.
Yeah.
What impact has that had on your perception of our community?
I feel like we have connected with them as people, definitely. I feel like, their warmth, when we go to their houses, they give us so many gifts, and it's the kind of warmth that I think we need to take back there, because we treat our guests well, but they treat the hospitality here is to like another level of hospitality, and they have so little. They give what they have. So connecting with them wasn't hard at all. I find it maybe even easier to connect with people here than maybe people back home, even though we've grown up in the same environment. It's because they're just so warm, they're just so giving. I find it very easy to connect with the people here.
Do you think that we are failing these people?
And I know that, alhamdulillah, now because of the World Federation, what the scheme has done for the students here, the next generation are okay, because they're going to allow their daughters to be educated, they're going to allow their children to go for an education. But I still feel like all these children at the school is still for them. 70% of their parents are not educated, so for them they still might not be allowed to go on to university, especially if they're girls. So what do we do for them? We've got we've saved the next generation because of the scheme, so the success is there. The next, it takes a while for these things to take into place, so we can see directly the next generation, inshallah, will be fine. But what happens to all these students? Unless we get to their parents now, which we need to do, what happens to them?
So what do you think needs to be done for them?
We need to come and educate the parents. The thing is, we need to approach it from their thinking level. We can't come and criticize them because they haven't had an education. They don't know any different. Their thinking is different because they haven't been educated. So we need to approach it from their angle. We need to speak to them and explain to them why girls, even if girls don't go to work, we're not saying a girl has to go and work. Marriage is important. It's very noble to be a housewife, to run your household. That's completely fine. But that woman's a mother. She needs to be educated, because an educated mother educates a nation. She needs to be educated.
And what do you feel about the standard of education that we're getting here? Do you think it serves them well?
I think that with this story, with the scheme here, for example, the teachers that studied under the scheme and have come back to teach, though it's really good that they've come back to teach and they are giving back to community, the story is not perhaps as ideal as I thought it would be, because, for example, they didn't necessarily get a teacher's training, they're not necessarily qualified to teach. So there's still flaws within the fact that the kids are getting the fact they have an education is something, because these teachers are very passionate when they teach. Even if they haven't had a teacher's training course, they give it their all. They teach with their hearts here. Really, they do. You can see it in the respect the kids have for the teachers, the respect the teachers have for the kids. We still need to make sure that we can qualify these teachers properly. So we need to still do more for the kids in terms of getting them qualified teachers.
A healthy body nurtures the healthy mind that aspires to achieve what so many girls in Mawwa crave. The next story shows the importance of primary healthcare in a country such as India, where the health infrastructure is underdeveloped.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sabiha Morali Merchant. I am 26 years old and live in Toronto, Canada. I am currently working as a health researcher focusing on women's health and health services research. I am in Bangalore visiting the Ainullah Eye Clinic in the Zainabia Health Center. In 1994, the World Federation established the Zainabia Primary Healthcare Center. In 1999, the center extended its wings with the creation of the Ainullah Eye Clinic, which is a fully equipped eye hospital. The clinic provides various eye treatments, including eye exams and cataract procedures. Every 3 months, the clinic holds a camp providing free screening and testing for the poorest of the poor. The Zainabia Health Center provides immunization, family planning counseling, antenatal care, and referrals for specialized care. Despite being limited by the space, staff and doctors at the clinic continue to see a growing number of patients. In the last 10 months, the clinic has served over 2,000 patients.
Blindness due to cataract presents an enormous problem in India.
Internationally, 1 out of 3 cataracts occurs in India, where they are responsible for 80% of blindness in the country. Exposure to sunlight increases the risk of cataracts.
I'm Dr. Sonal Chaya. I'm the consultant ophthalmologist in this hospital, along with another doctor called Dr. Vishwanath. The mainstay of the eye surgeries that we do here are cataract surgeries, though we do other surgeries like glaucoma surgeries. Now, the OT is equipped with our motorized operation table. This is the Carl Zeiss machine. The Zeiss machine is considered one of the best optical devices known at present, not just in India, but all over the world. The unit that you can see there is called the phacoemulsification unit. It's considered one of the best machines in the world for cataract surgeries.
Right. How many procedures do you do typically in a week?
See, in a week we do about 8 to 10 paying patients, and we have a system here where when we are not doing camp patients, we reserve a few patients who are ideal cases for cataract surgeries and who cannot afford it. The non-affording, or what are called the non-paying patients. We keep a register of them, and every time we get a paying patient, we pool in that money which the paying patient is providing to do a non-paying cataract surgeries.
Next, at the Ainullah Eye Clinic and the Zainabia Health Center, I spoke with Dr. Lubna Fatima, who specializes in gynecology. Dr. Lubna is an example of a success story through the efforts of the World Federation in India. She received assistance through an education fund, which enabled her to further her postgraduate education. As a way of giving back to the community, she presently devotes some of her time at the Ainullah Eye Clinic and the Zainabia Health Center.
What type of patients do you see?
Basically, we see the lower socio-middle economic status patients, and these patients, they come to me for antenatal care, that is care during their pregnancy, or they do come for any family planning advices, and some of the gynec patients too.
And how do you feel after seeing some of your patients?
Oh, I feel great because I'm basically helping my community. I belong to the same community, and that was the basic aim when I came down here. I do work in 3-4 places, and I just try to spend at least 1 hour here, because I wanted to be within my people, and I think we are very few Shia doctors here. But in Bangalore, we are maybe I'm the only gynecologist, and there's some other dentists and other things. So I feel really great when I help them out.
After visiting the Ainullah Eye Clinic in the Zainabia Health Center, I met Nagreta, who took me to the nearby slum area. Nagreta is a social worker who visits the slum area on a regular basis, where she tries to connect individuals with the best resources available through the Ainullah Eye Clinic and the Zainabia Health Center. Nagreta informed me that more than 70% of residents in this slum area are from the Shia community. Nagreta and I met several families who narrated their personal stories on how they have been assisted by the various programs sponsored by the World Federation.
बच्चे को किडनी प्रॉब्लम है, मेरे को पेमेंट है, अभी मेरे को ऑपरेशन फिर से बोल रही, अभी मेरे को क्या करना है आंटी, ऐसा बोलने से आंटी बुला जाको, हाँ मेरा इलाज करा ली ज़ैनबिया में, फिर वहाँ से नागरत्न आंटी पूरा बुला जाको, बोरिंग में सर्जन को बता को, फिर वहाँ भी ऑपरेशन सीजरिंग केस कराए.
Some of the people I met told me about their serious health conditions that they faced, such as high-risk pregnancies, kidney disease, problems with vision and cataracts, stroke, and cardiovascular disease, to name a few. It was moving to hear their personal accounts and how Nagreta helped in relieving them of their life-threatening circumstances with resources available by the World Federation. This family's account really touched my heart and demonstrates the impact of programs sponsored by the World Federation in this particular slum community. This young boy's family was hit by tragedy when his father suddenly died at a young age. They lived in a poor area of the city where his father made a living by rolling beedies. When his father passed away, his mother was left hopeless, wondering how she would support herself and her 3 young children. Thanks to the various programs offered by the World Federation, this young boy's mother was given a widow's pension. Her children were also assisted through the Zainabia Child Sponsorship Scheme, which enabled them to go to school. The family was also privileged to receive a housing lease, which greatly improved their living conditions. Meeting this young boy and hearing this story really showed me the impact that the World Federation has made to the underprivileged. If it wasn't for the assistance that they received through the World Federation, this family would be living in poor living conditions. The children would not have access to an education, and the eldest son would be rolling beedies, as his father was, in order to support the family. How fortunate they are to have been helped in so many ways.
The Ainullah Eye Clinic and the Zainabia Health Center provide vital health services, especially to Shias living in slum areas. Going into the slum areas and hearing people's stories showed me the role people like Negretta play. Negretta is integral to the success of the clinic by helping those in need. I hope you've been inspired by the clinic and by the center.
Hygienic housing is central to prevention of diseases that keep so many children away from school. Another thing that used to keep children at home was child labor, as will be seen in the next story.
My name is Muhammad Sabur. I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised in Minneapolis. I'll be taking you to southern India, including Bangalore, Chennai, Alvakonda, Alipur, and Karimpur, to visit some of the World Federation-funded projects in those areas. We've just reached Alipur, north of Bangalore. It's been a tough road to get here. We walked up the path. We thought we were entering some kind of just small village. There was a group of children waiting for us in the hot sun, ready with a parade, and it was such a moving experience. They were so excited to see us. They were so excited to display their achievements. So we've just entered the compound of the school, the Zainabia school here in Alipur, and they greeted us with a grand reception, band and all the students. It's quite amazing. There's got to be over 100 students here, and it's quite amazing to see the reception that they prepared for us. Clearly this has taken a lot of time, a lot of effort. There's students all around behind us, all in front of us. It looks like they're from about probably 5 years old into their mid-teens.
Every morning before classes and every afternoon before they are allowed to go home, the students gather in the courtyard and recite their school anthem, which is, in fact, a dua written by one of the first students to attend the Zainabia school here in Alipur.
Just amazing. It's hard to describe the emotions that we're feeling right now. I can't believe the patience, the dedication, and the sincere honor that these students have bestowed upon us as their guests. This is just an amazing sight. Of all the time that we've heard of the Zainabia Child Sponsorship Scheme, nothing can send that message like this.
Through Zainabia, the World Federation has done a lot of work in and around Bangalore, especially in towns like Alipur. In 1984, the town of Alipur was nearly destroyed in a hurricane. There was an enormous human tragedy in Alipur and surrounding villages like Karimpur. On top of the natural disaster, the people of Alipur were extremely impoverished, and there were almost no credible educational facilities available, and therefore the children in this village were largely illiterate. In 1994, the Zainabia school in Alipur was constructed. The school was over-enrolled from the day it opened, and therefore a second floor was constructed in 1996. This brings me to a moment in my journey where I saw something that moved me quite personally, which was my grandfather's name on a plaque on the second floor of the school. We've just walked upstairs. We're at the second floor of the Zainabia School here in Alipur. And we were walking up the stairs to head to the 9th standard class. And I saw this plaque, and it says, the second floor has been donated in the memory of Marhum Rajab Ali Amar Si Sundarji Mauji, who is my grandfather. He passed away. He passed away in 1994. He was my mother's father, and I knew that my family had sponsored, WF projects and donated to ZCSS. But I didn't realize that here in Bangalore, which is hundreds of kilometers away from where my family came from in India, that I would see part of my own family's history here in Alipur. So it's quite a shock. It's just after lunchtime at the Zainabia School here in Alipur. We're going to be heading into a 4th standard class to see what they're learning. The Zainabia School in Alipur has been so successful that it ranks amongst the top schools in the area, according to the records of the Karnataka State Department. When we were visiting the classrooms, you could see that it was such a progressive and vibrant environment for education, with such a focus especially on girls' education, challenging the local culture to ensure that boys and girls are given equal focus and equal attention in the importance of education. It was amazing to see the energy flowing through the children, the discipline, the level of education. We visited a science lab where young girls were showing me experiments that I hadn't even seen until I got to university, and these were girls who were 13, 14, and 15 years old.
Energy in all the directions. Only a small proportion of this vast energy reaches the earth in the form of heat and light. Sunlight helps the growth of plants and animals.
Everyone at the school has such a vision, such a mission, and ambitions to go for higher education, to become doctors, engineers, and scientists. You can see in their eyes that they want to achieve their dreams, and they look to us to help them achieve those dreams. Thank you very much. Wow. We next traveled to Avalkonda, whose inhabitants are mostly Shia, and we visited the World Federation-sponsored housing in this village. Today's Avalkonda is a far cry from the soul-defeating, beady-rolling village which it used to be over a decade ago. Avalkonda was a place where 6-year-old children sat all day in dark rooms, rolling beedies, which are cigarettes, for a pittance, just to pay the interest on the money borrowed by their parents at an unreasonably high rate. The homes were built after Mullah Asghar Sahib visited the village and saw a young man rolling beedies and saw that there was a lack of education and a lack of sufficient housing in the village. He organized for the entire debt of the villagers to be cleared and that the moneylenders be paid off by the World Federation. Since then, the WF, in conjunction with the Imam-e-Zamana mission, has been developing the village to better the lives of the inhabitants of Avalkonda. So we're walking here through the housing colony in Avalkonda. The homes that you see around me are part of the first phase of the project that the World Federation built in 1987. The homes have been in need of renovation and have been changed and improved as the years have gone on. We'll be visiting some of the later phases of the housing project. We're here at the entrance to the 2nd and 3rd phases of the World Federation-sponsored housing complex in Avalkonda. The village homes were built in 3 phases. We just passed through the first phase. The 2nd and 3rd phases were built in numbers of 49 and 89 homes, respectively. These are the homes that are currently under construction in Avalkonda. The homes cost an average of 75,000 rupees per home. The home that you see here is a simple building, 22 by 11, and we'll be heading inside. Clearly the size of the home itself is not sufficient. It had to build a thatched roof outside. We'll be heading in. The housing complexes here in Avalkonda are quite simple. There's no concept of what you would call Western furniture. There's a simple chair that a TV rests on, pots and pans strewn about, blankets, linens, a simple shelf. And behind me is a single room for a person to sleep, not even on a bed, but on the floor. The electricity in this village is not sufficient. It cuts in and out at random times unexpectedly, but this is the living conditions of the people of Avalkonda. This is Muhammad Hussain. He is a resident of the village of Avalkonda, one of the many villagers who lives in World Federation-sponsored housing. His job is relegated to rolling beedies for money that are then sold locally.
He moved into World Federation sponsored housing 3 months ago, and prior to that he lived in a simple hut here in the village.
While bidis are still being rolled, it is by choice, rather than for repayment of debt. More importantly, there are no longer children rolling bidis here in Avolconda. They are all at the newly constructed Zainabia School, financed by the World Federation under its Zainabia Child Sponsorship Scheme. The school is really at the heart of Avolconda, where children go about their business like at any other school. What is remarkable is that just over a decade ago, some of the very children in that school were actually rolling bidis for 8 hours a day to pay off debts. Had action not been taken, who knows? All those children learning today may well have been born into debt and servitude. The people I met and the emotions I experienced on this journey are not ones that shall soon be forgotten. For the first time in my life, I returned to the land my ancestors left generations ago. And yet, in these people, I saw my brothers and sisters, family, and loved ones. We should never forget our mandates to help the orphan and the widow, the destitute and the less fortunate. For we have just as much to learn from them as they do from us. To do what Allah enables us to do in the way of helping them is not an imperative as a Khoja or as an Indian, but as a Muslim and a fellow human being. We heard many amazing stories along this journey, but our collective work here is far from done. Our efforts have only begun to scratch the surface.
But seeing the children learning just made me appreciate the work of these incredibly dedicated teachers. The children enjoy school every day, irrespective of the extreme heat and noisy conditions.